I'm here at Orange, one of the more touristy spots in the Normandy area. Above me and on the other sides of the cliffs you can have some great views of the remains of the Mulberry Harbour, one of the two harbours built by the Allies to offload supplies and equipment. As beautiful this spot may be, today I want to have a look at some of the more unknown German fortifications that defended the Normandy beaches, which are in a great condition and unmolested by people. Because we all know the common tourist spots like Point du Hoc and Battery de Lange, which is swarmed by tourists every year that abuse their phones for crappy Instagram clout. But let's head out to my first location. So the first location I personally want to have a look at is the Batterie de la Marais-Fontaine, or WN32, close to the town of Vers-sur-Mer. This position, even though most of the battery is not open to the public and on private property, is one of the more complete fortifications out here. During the landings, the casemate had 4 World War I 10cm guns. The battery came under heavy fire by bombardments all day and would be taken over by the Green Howard's 7th Battalion. This battalion landed on Gold Beach and they moved through Vers-sur-Mer without any enemy contact and moved up to the battery with the support of 2 Churchill crocodile tanks, where they would take several German prisoners without a fight. But even though a lot of it is on private property, the battery is in great condition. It still has the metal ventilation shafts, drains, radio and communication pipes, so I would recommend you check it out if you're in the neighborhood. WN16 at Colleville-sur-Orne is a bit of an odd one and is actually hidden in this modern neighborhood and one of the more interesting places to visit. At first glance this just looks like a normal suburb, but the position is all still here, hidden among the houses. In 1944 this position wasn't completely finished and the Germans were busy to replace the open ring stands with the R669 bunker. These bunkers would have housed the 10cm Feldhaubitz. The position, nicknamed Morse, was attacked together with the WN70 position named the Hillman Fortress. This position would be shelled and assaulted by C Squadron of the 13th and 18th Royal Hussars, but the position was heavily defended and C Squadron was forced to retreat. The next morning the attack was assisted by Sherman Firefly tanks, and they eventually would overrun the site. Today these bunkers are either retrofitted as garages and one owner has built its entire house on top of one of these bunkers. This makes this point together with the Hillman position really interesting. This location can be visited the entire day, both for WN 16 and 17. But on certain times you can get a tour from the local owner of the site. Most of the bunkers are in great condition, still having a lot of its original steel observation domes, communication pipes and water tanks. A lot of the original camouflage and range markers painted on the inside of the traboucs can still be seen. Some bunkers are restored with sandbags and the trenches to give an idea on how it actually looked in 1944. From here we're heading out to the Batterie de Fleury in the village of Montfleury. This location is pretty much in the same condition as WN16 and was still under construction when the Allies landed on D-Day. The battery had 4 120mm guns, of what some of these were positioned out in the open because the casemates weren't finished. Even though these casemates could be built pretty fast because they were built out of concrete blocks, these blocks and the building method you can still see today. You can also see the evidence of the HMS Orion shelling this position, which on D-Day mounted into nothing. The position was eventually taken over by Company Sergeant Major Stan Hollis because he captured the site almost alone with only a Sten gun and several grenades. After he went running to the second bunker, the rest of his men joined in after seeing such a brave display. Today these bunkers are retrofitted as either storage, a barn, and the other bunker looks like a summer home with what looks like to me as a sun deck. But if you find this sort of stuff interesting, I did an entire video about reusing bunkers as houses and other buildings in a previous video. Have a look in the description below, or click on the icon in the top right corner. From here I will go to the only spot on this list on the American sector, WN60 close to Colleville-sur-Mer. This is one of my favorite spots in Normandy history, from the Americans landing too far from the actual landing point, which would eventually save a lot of lives, to the filming of the only combat footage on Omaha and the battle that took place here. I could never tell the entire history in this video, but if you're interested, I did an entire video about this position, which I would recommend you check out. Link in the description below, or click on the top right corner icon. WN60 was a well-positioned German defense position, looking out on the entirety of the sector. It would have had several mortar Tobruks, MG Tobruks and a Tobruk with a French APXR 3.7 cm turret and two 75 MLE Belgian field guns. During the battle, the Americans landed too far from the actual landing point, forcing the troops to move along the coastline. Because of this, the Germans could not really get an angle on the approaching American forces, having trouble firing their guns into the road and onto the beach. And the Germans were eventually flushed out with grenades, and the battle for WN60 was over at the 0900 hour mark, with only 9 Germans killed and the other 31 surrendering. Today this position is incredibly stunning, from the incredible views of Omaha Beach to the historical position that's mostly left intact. From some of the original paint and wood left to the extreme rarity of the trench system that's still intact. And I know, WN62 also has a trench system left, but that one has been dug out and restored several times, because thousands of tourists plowing through the same trench system for 70 years will not work out like you think it will. So I would highly recommend you go check out WN60. From here we go to one of the best unknown preserved positions, WN05 Frenchville West. This gigantic position was located in the Band sector, located between the Orne and the Dives. It was a complex intended to stop a possible breakthrough of armored vehicles. Stützpunkt 05 included a large R504 and R506 anti-tank bunkers, which were armed with two 47mm Skoda 36 guns and an unknown anti-tank gun in a R669 casemate closer to the channel. It also would include a 17th century French fort named Redoute de Merville. Today a lot of these fortifications here are still in a great condition, like a complete intact anti-tank wall and anti-tank ditch, with crew markers on bunkers and beautiful intact target markers on the R669 casemate. Of course, the easy to reach bunkers are sadly dirty and used as beach toilets, but nevertheless this is a great place to check out. I will not go fully into the history on this place because I will be doing a complete history video on this location. That's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this top 5. If you want to support the channel, think about buying me a coffee or visit my Patreon. I will see you in the next one.